Hello, how's everybody doing? I hope you're doing good. I'm doing all right. I missed everybody, but I've been pretty sick. I had a really bad cold, and of course, my throat sounds even worse, right? But I couldn't help it. I needed to come on here and talk to you guys for just a little bit. There's really nothing new in the Summer Wells case. But I don't know, I just felt like I needed to come on here and talk about something that really bothers me. You know, for the past couple days, Summer's been on my mind. Well, she's always on my mind. Summer Wells was 5 years old when she went missing June 15th of 2021. We're going into 2023. And she has still not been found. She's missing from Rogersville, Kingsport, Tennessee. She lived on Ben Hill Road. She turned 6 years old since she's been missing. And we don't know what happened to her. We have many suspicions, and a lot of us have many suspicions. So today, though, I was thinking, so if Don didn't do this, or if Candace didn't do this, then why you guys did Don need so many people to blame? You know, from the beginning, he needed somebody to blame. And he had all these different suspects. He had all these different people. And he even, come up with ways, and he retraced steps that a kidnapper could have took Summer, right? So, anyways, so why would a person need all those things? Need to come up with their own 5,000 theories of what could have happened to Summer. I mean, their stories change so much. Don and Candace's, we all know that they're really good at being criminals. They have been criminals their whole entire life. And they're not stupid. They may seem like they are, but they're not stupid. But the thing of it is that Don has, come out and came up with all these reasons and excuses and stories. He blamed everybody under the sun, and which we all thought was strange. But, I want to say something because I've been watching a lot of SRA survivors, which is satanic ritual abuse. And I'm not saying that Summer was, that anybody did that to her, though it's not beyond the realms of possibility, because they are involved with a strange church, and there's even registered sex offenders in that church. There's so many predators around Summer Wells that it's really hard to say, because anybody could have took the little girl, okay? Especially if her mom or, was intoxicated. But I do think that Don was home part of that day. I do believe that they both know, but, everyone's innocent until proven guilty, right? And some people think that Don and Candace are innocent. But I will tell you something, that I think that whether they did this to their child or it was somebody they knew. Somebody they know did this to this child. And the thing is that we know that Don admitted that he showered with Summer, took showers with Summer. We know that he slept with her. And true, which was Hunter's sister, Allie's daughter, who had spent the night there before, had said that he undressed her and then they just went to bed, that she slept naked and he slept naked in the bed together. But I have been doing some real deep dive digging into child sex abuse and survivors. And the biggest thing that I have seen is that it starts when the child's around 5 years old. There has been cases when children have been abused earlier, babies even. But most of the time, I notice it's from the ages of 4 to 7 when the abuse started in these girls and in these people that I've listened to their testimonies and their stories. And I would recommend a channel. It's called Only God. And on there is, her name is Lisa Meister, and she is a survivor of satanic ritual abuse. And, but there's a lot of victims that she has on her channel that discuss this and tell their stories. And, I believe it was her. I believe it was in her story. She said that she showered. One of them said that they showered with their father. But I've heard this numerous times already. I heard that Joe Biden, that his actual granddaughter wrote it in her diary that she showered with her grandfather. So that's really strange, right? But, I'm discussing these things, but I'm going to say trigger warning because I know that this is a difficult topic, and especially around the holidays. A lot of people are survivors of abuse, and if you're a survivor of abuse, I am so sorry what happened to you. And if you need to reach out to me, you can just comment to me and I'll comment back to you, and, I can talk to you personally, through message or something. But listen, you're not alone. You're not the only one. There's so many victims out there who are survivors now and who made it through all of this. But it's interesting. It is really a horrific thing. A horrific thing that children, I think it's 1 in 7 children are abused, sexually abused in a family. And that's pretty bad, really, if you think about it. But, sorry.
But trigger warning, it's married.
I know that Don has admitted that he messed with his stepsister's half-sister, and his half-sister came out and said that she had been molested since she was the same age as Summer. That Don had been molesting her most of her life. And that his half-sister Jeannie went and called the TBI because, she thought maybe that could have something to do with this. And rightly so, she should have reported that, because I think it has everything to do with it. There's so many predators around Summer in this case, not only her family. I mean, my God, think about her mother, Candace's mother, her uncle, her family. There's predators on her side of the family, on Candace's side, in the actual family. And there's predators in Don's family. Don and Candace been in jail, in and out. And I want to tell you something. After I listened to a lot of abuse, survivors of abuse, of this kind of abuse, mothers abuse their children too. Mothers sexually abuse their children. And a lot of times people have a repressed memory because the pain is so bad, they disassociate and they hide and they stuff all that. And then they wonder later on in life, why am I feeling this way? Why am I so depressed? You know, why have I blocked out big parts of my life and my memory? And it's because something traumatic happened in your past. But I believe that all the signs are there that Summer was being abused. Maybe it just started. I don't know. Maybe it had already gone on for a little while. I mean, it's inappropriate, I'm sorry, for a father to shower with his grown daughter and her being at the same height as his anatomy. I'm sorry if that's disgusting, but that should never have happened. And it's not normal, and it's not natural, and I don't care who thinks it's terrible. It is terrible, and that's exactly why people need to talk about these things, because they're happening to children all the time. In families, people are being abused. You know, we don't know if there was all kinds of things going on. We seen Summer's bedroom. We seen what it looked like, how terrible. It looked like a dungeon, just exactly what Don thought, that Summer was in a dungeon. Well, it looks just like one, where she slept in the basement. I watched a video where this girl was kidnapped, and there was actually a trap door, and this guy had made this place underneath this trap door in the floor, and he had this girl in there. He was a friend of the family, and he was keeping her down there. I'm not saying that that happened, but, you know, I don't know where Don and Candace could have put Summer. I wish I knew. I mean, sometimes there's been times where I thought that Don and Candace seemed like they were sincere and they were genuine. And there's been times that I believed them and I felt bad for thinking the way that I was thinking, that they were guilty of stuff. But not anymore. Not anymore. After everything we've heard and seen, I mean, there was too many weird things that day, right? Everything happened weird. Coincidences. It was just strange that he took the Subaru that day. First, he said the boys went with him to work. Candace said the boys went with him. There was rumor about that. Then we heard that the boys went swimming with Candace, though we didn't see him anywhere in the video, and we didn't hear from Hunter that they went swimming. But we heard rumors that they stayed home and cleaned the house. Just all these weird things. Also, she just happened to do these videos, and these people who don't really take care of their yard just happened to be planting flowers that day and having candy, and, you know, and she just looked away for 5 minutes, and then Summer was gone out of the unlocked basement door. First it was locked, then it was unlocked, and Candace said nobody in, nobody out. Don said that she walked out the basement door even though Don was not home. Okay, supposedly according to him. He said the dogs were not there on the property that day. He lied. How would he know that, for one, if he was not home? And for number two, Candace had to take those dogs and remove them because the cops came there with their search dogs, and she had to get them off the property. And they had like 10, 20 dogs, so it'd be really hard for an abductor to do this. But yet Don has tried to convince us this, okay? And it makes you wonder why he would want to convince us of this. But I just want to continue on with what I was saying. I believe that even though if Don and Candace did not do this to their daughter, at the very least, I believe they're guilty of abusing her, physically abusing her, and SA of her. Because from what we see, the signs, from what I've seen and what I've learned, I believe that it was happening in that home. I believe that it's generational. I believe it's carried down through the family. I believe it's a learned behavior. I was watching Eileen Warnos. She killed all those guys, and she said it was self-defense. Well, I don't know, but I believed her and she was crazy, and it gives her no right to do what she did. But her grandfather molested her. She was abandoned by her family. Her grandfather was molesting her. And her brother, her and her brother were committing incest together. I believe she got pregnant by her grandfather, and they made her give that baby up for adoption. She ended up, her father was a criminal. He just abandoned her and them. And her mother died at a young age when she was just born, not long after she was born. So she ended up at the grandparents and in foster care. But the grandfather, when she got pregnant, which I believe it was his child, he kicked her out of the house, sent her told her to leave. And she ended up, she gave that baby up. They made her give the baby up, and then she was out on the streets. Well, when you listen to some of these victims of child sex abuse, she had all the signs. She had all the things that happened to her. And what I believe think about this. One of her victims that she shot, who she said was raping her, she was a prostitute. He did pick her up. It was a chief of the police. Many police have been involved in, picking up prostitutes and doing things. So, I listened to her testimonies and stuff, and she claims that they were, hurting her and raping her. I don't know, but her father had a very violent tendency, and he was in prison. And so, yeah, it's like her whole family was not good, and nobody listened to her. Nobody really paid attention to her. And right there, I felt bad for her for the fact that she was a child that was lost in the system. She had been abused as a child. And, she claimed that they were just using her to make money off her story. That's the only reason she got so much attention, and it's probably the truth. Charles Manson said the same thing, although he was a lunatic. But anyways, I'm just saying that I think that
there's a trigger warning. It's Mary Home.
I think that Eileen was a victim, and she did bad things. But I do believe that she carried in her a hatred for men because of the abuse she endured as a child. And some of that stuff is consequences of what goes on in people's childhood. I've heard stories of people that detach and they develop so many personalities because the trauma was so bad, I've heard terrible, horrible stories of child abuse, and it affects the whole family, and it affects your whole life. Do you know, when I was a child, I was abused, physically abused, some sexual abuse, but not a lot that I know of. But I have big parts of my childhood blocked out. But the thing is is because I was abused. I continued in relationships that were abusive to me. I chose men that were abusive to me and around my children. I made bad decisions because I only knew love as someone who was mean to me. My father was mean to me, so that's how I, defined love, somebody that treated me bad. So I've never really known that. So I picked bad relationships, but the thing is there's so many consequences that come from child abuse. I still today struggle with believing God loves me or that he's not going to judge me or hate me because I have a bad view of my father because I could never make him happy. And I felt like he hated me. And he told me I was worthless. And so what I'm saying is that how your earthly father is how you define your heavenly father. It's hard for people to have a relationship with God because of some of this stuff. It affects a lot of people in different ways, and even their health, and they don't even know it. So I just really believe this, but this was one of the videos that really bothered me, and I just want you to hear a little bit of this, and there is a trigger warning, so I am going to warn you ahead of time, because Don Wells is talking to his sister, and he's talking about because she reported him, because she told about the abuse, she came out and talked about it. So he is very angry, and he does not want this brought out. It is brought out, but he don't want it brought out. But I want you to listen to how he talks about his daughter here. And this is, like I said, off the phone call. But I did get this video from Twisted True Cindy, but I just wanted you to hear this for a minute.
Phone call to her brother, Don Wells.
They think that, oh, poor Summer, poor Summer. Well, Summer loves her fucking daddy. They think that, oh, poor Summer, poor Summer. Well, Summer loves her fucking daddy.
I just wanted to let you know that I talked to Jeannie last night, and she told me that she was going to press charges against you, Donnie. So, yeah, so I wanted to let you know. Yeah. And that friend of hers, I guess she's going to be with her. She's pressing charges too. When we heard that Summer went missing, that everything came back to her because she was 5 years old at the time it started. And Summer...
See, 5 years old. And most of the victims, survivors of child sex abuse, when sometimes their memory gets triggered by something like an event like this. I've heard of women, when they had their first child, they remember when their child turned 5. But it's interesting that this is the age.
Was 5 years old, so she just...
Yeah, she ain't taking no blame on her part, though, what she did.
Yeah, but Donnie, she was 5. How could she take the blame? I mean, a 5-year-old don't...
Oh, of course not. She ain't on no shit. She ain't gonna take no blame on nothing.
Trigger warning. This is a normal thing for a perpetrator to say, to blame it and put it on the child.
Shit shows because she's right in the middle of one. She stole the spotlight off my daughter's What Matters. Okay.
Stole the spotlight off my daughter of What Matters. It doesn't matter that he abused his stepsister. It just matters, and I can kind of see what he's trying to say here, but at the same time, he's just mad that he got caught.
And now it's all about Jeannie. Nobody's even looking for my daughter anymore. They don't even care anymore. Nobody gives a fuck anymore.
Well, what about you? You guys
Nobody's
still
even
looking
searching.
for her?
Nobody's even fucking searching for my daughter anymore.
No.
I have to go out and look for her. Because
Yeah.
nobody else gives a fuck.
Yeah, right.
So that's the lost community. I mean, you guys are, looking for her, right? You're still.
Yeah, I'm trying to, but now it's like I'm up fighting charges too. What are my boys gonna do? Just stay in foster care for the rest of their life now? Thanks a lot.
I just wish that they could find Summer, Donnie. I just,
Yeah, well, I wish so too, man, because this turned my whole world upside
He wanted to say what good would that do because she's dead, because he knows.
down. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about my daughter that's out there probably being really raped. Unlike Jeannie, she was never hurt in any way. We played a little bit of house, touchy-feely shit. That's all it ever fucking was. Fuck that bitch. You know what? If anybody was evil in this whole thing, it's her.
Yeah.
She's the one.
Right. Yeah.
Person wants to paint me up to be this evil monster and all this stuff. She's the one that initiated it.
Well, I think she just wants.
Man, I try.
Listen, they always want to blame their victim. Poor Summer, poor Summer. Well, he's the victim here, okay? Everybody thinks, poor Summer, but she loved her effing daddy, But I wanted to show you something here. I just wanted you to hear one part on this other video. These are from last year. Chris McDonough did an interview with him, and then other video people took it and used it. But yeah. But hold on here. I just want to get to the part that I need to hear here for you. Got my little lights up there.
NextMed offers new FDA-approved medications like Ozempic and Wegovy.
Hello there.
Okay, hold on. Gotta get it to the... So this is where Don talks terrible about his daughter, and I just wanted you to hear this.
Number 9. Claiming he knows where Summer's at.
Damn, because my daughter's probably on the fucking streets right now somewhere. Nobody's listening to me.
Donnie, we can't do anything.
I know where she's at. She's in a fucking motel room somewhere with some fucking weirdo. Fucking motherfucker trying to sell them for a little bit of crack cocaine. I know how it works.
He knows how it works, see? He knows how it works.
Somewhere pulled up in a fucking motel room.
Donnie, don't let your fucking mind go there, okay?
I've already been there. I've seen
Stop
it.
it.
I'm just telling you what
Stop it, fucking stop
I'm
it.
telling you what I've seen with my own eyes.
I believe that you have seen this.
Number 10. Again, more disturbing ideas on what might have happened. And remember, these statements were made just within a couple of weeks after Summer went missing.
I don't want to think she's dead, but it's a possibility.
It was in...
I'll see her in the resurrection. As long as I keep the commandments and I do what I'm supposed to do, I'll see her in the commandments.
Yeah, well, that was only a few days after. But you see how he victim blames. He blames everything that happened on his sister, and he doesn't want to admit. He said they just played a little bit of house. That's all they did. But we know that's not true. And I don't think that Jeannie has any reason to lie. For what? Why would she want to call the TBI and tell them this, and was worried because Summer was 5 years old when she went missing, and this is when it happened to Jeannie, his half-sister. But what does he do? He doesn't come clean. He doesn't say, oh, yeah, that was really, I should have never did that. I will apologize to her, and I will talk to her about this. But he didn't do that. Oh, but she came on to me. He blamed the victim. And if you're a victim of child sex abuse, you didn't do anything wrong, and you are not to blame. And this person is a perpetrator, and I know he is. And I don't know if they gave Summer to someone, if they trafficked her for money. Maybe they've been trafficking her for money for a while. We don't know. We don't know if the whole family was molesting her. We don't know if she was trafficked to members of her family or their friends. But we know that she's missing. And the longer she's gone, we don't have much hope that she's alive anymore. But it's very sad that this is how her father talks about her, that she's effing somebody in an effing motel for a little bit of crack cocaine. Well, you don't talk about your daughter like that. I'm sorry. And yeah, you do know about those things, Don Wells and Candace. And, you guys have a long past and a long history. And if you didn't do this, you're still guilty of abusing that little girl. And I believe you did. And I believe there's going to be evidence to prove it. So, but, everybody was talking about TBI took over the case. You know what? TBI told us a long time ago, last year, that they took over this case, that they were handling it. And I've spoke on many videos, and I've said, the sheriff doesn't do the investigation. The sheriff does, calls in the searches. He makes the arrest, but he doesn't really investigate things like this. The TBI and the FBI do those things. And, I just heard today, and I shared it on my community page, that little girl that was shot by her father, who was given custody in Tennessee. Department of Child Services failed another child. And she was shot by her father as soon as he was given custody. And that is sickening, and that is sad. And Child Protective Services needs to be held responsible for this too. And I believe that Summer Wells has fallen through the cracks with these protective service people, that many people fail these children all the time. I can only pray that those boys know something more, and that they start talking to the police and the TBI, that they start spilling the beans about their family and their parents. And I think they're rotten parents. I'm sorry. For those of you who love Don and Candace, that's your prerogative. But I have believed from day one that they were responsible for this abduction of their daughter or fake kidnapping or whatever. I do not know what happened to her, but I pray for her. And, I hope that we get some answers before Christmas. Wouldn't that be a great thing? It makes me sad that here another holiday goes by and Summer's not here to be with her brothers and sisters. I mean, her brother, well, she does have a sister that Candace lost custody of years ago and doesn't even try to get with, and her son that she doesn't even try to get with was abused by her ex. These are not good parents. I don't care what anybody says. So, that maybe they aren't the guilty ones, but what's the chances that they're not the guilty ones? Come on. Seems to all fall in line with these two people. And I wish the TBI would question them further. try to get down to this. I'd really love to see answers in this case. I mean, we're all frustrated. We all want to know where she is. But don't give up praying for her, and don't give up praying and speaking out for victims of child abuse, and speaking out against these agencies who fail children all the time, every day. It makes me so sad. So I just want to tell you all, I miss all of you. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. I'll be thinking of you. I don't know if I'll do another video, maybe by then. But I do. I love all of you, and I hope you're all doing good. And I wish all of you a very Merry Christmas. And if you're struggling through something, just know that God loves you, and I love you, and there's people who really care. And God can heal the broken places in our hearts and in our lives. You know that. He can do a mighty healing. So all you have to do is ask. So anyways, I hope everyone has a good night and a good week, and I hope to talk to you soon. All right. Have a good one. God bless you. Bye.